Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Before we dive into the episode, I am so excited to share with you that my brand new online course, Cashed Up Creatives, is officially out now. Now, this course is for my artists with neurospicy brains, my bi-weekly paycheck cuties who just don't want a budget, or anyone who wants to get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle and finally experience financial wellness. This course is for you. It's gonna help you get 3 months ahead on bills. It's gonna help you pay off debt while you still take vacations. It's gonna help you manage your fluctuating or consistent income with ease. You're gonna be able to confidently talk to your parents or partner about your money decisions. You're gonna be able to open a retirement account and invest your first or next $500. You're always gonna have surplus in your bank account, and it's gonna teach you how to ditch your scarcity mindset so you can feel abundant with money. Now, this is a self-study course, meaning that when you make your one-time payment of $247, you have immediate access to the course content for life. And on top of lifetime access, the best part about what I'm sharing with you today is that for the rest of 2025, I am going to be hosting live monthly office hours for anyone who has joined the course. Totally for free, included with the price that you pay for the course itself. I, of course, recommend joining as soon as possible because the earlier you join, the more of those monthly office hours calls that you are going to get to attend. I cannot wait to see you inside and to help you get cashed up. Hello, everyone. We are now officially in the second half of my 10-week series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. And if you haven't been here for the first 5 weeks, that is okay. The first 5 weeks are not a prerequisite to enjoy the next 5 weeks. But I also encourage you to find the ones that activate you the most. I want you to download these episodes. So 6 months from now, I want you to come back and listen to the episode again and see what comes up for you that's totally new. Mindset work is like a complicated math problem. So when you think about math, we can easily do 2 plus 2 in our head, but if you try and do 371 times 7 divided by 12 plus 7, right? You can't do that in your brain. You need to get out a piece of paper and work out the problem. That doesn't mean the problem is unsolvable. You just need to get it down on paper. So same with mindset work. Taking intentional time to get out your journal and work through a mindset problem, something that's coming up, that's how you solve it. So enjoy this second half of the series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. All right, we are on day 8 of Money Affirmations that actually work. How to actually have mindset work bring in more dollars into your bank accounts, into your paychecks, into your life in 2025. That is what we are doing with mindset work this week. So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to list the affirmations we've done up to this point. I think it's fun to hear them all in one fell swoop, the ones that we've been working on. So ready? I release all resistance to attracting money. Making money is easy and enjoyable. I am in control of my financial destiny. I am worthy of a prosperous life. Every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. My income is constantly increasing. What a great first 7 days. So we have 3 more that we're going to add to this list. We're going to choose one today. We've got 2, 7, and 10 left. So I have all these 10 affirmations. We've done all of those other numbers except for 2, 7, and 10. So we're going to choose one of these last numbers today to dive into. So as we dive into our next affirmation, how are we feeling so far during this affirmation series? Have things started to click for you? Have new questions arose? I do this shit for a living, and I have had so many new things pop up for me in these 7 days by getting so specific on the affirmations and the deepening of these affirmations that have come up, right? Like the questions that have come up for me that I am journaling on, that I am taking a walk and think on, that I'm ruminating on right now. And there's something about giving yourself a specific, right? Like not even trying to find the perfect affirmation or the thing that hits the most, or like, this is the one that's finally going to be the right thing, whatever it is, releasing all of that. And it's the random picking, the random choice, and then taking that and going deep with it. And then the specificity comes from, how does that random choice of an affirmation affect you, right? I did not spend a long time putting together this list. I could have just popped on here every single day and had my computer and like Googled affirmations and just clicked on the first one that popped up, right? So it's the randomness of the picking and then seeing how it affects you and what it brings up in you. So this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm feeling a little lost on where I want to put my focus, or like I know I need some mindset help but I'm not quite sure what, or I just want something to work on but like I don't know what I want to work on, is just randomly bringing something into your life and then seeing how it affects you, right? Seeing what expands you and seeing what triggers you. So for me, sometimes this looks like a podcast episode. Like if I don't know what podcast episode I want to listen to, but I want to get high vibe or I want to work on something, I'll just scroll through, pick an episode. And then as I'm listening to it, sometimes I'll get really fucking annoyed at what I'm hearing. And I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. Why am I annoyed? Enter the questions and the specificity and the things that are actually going to help me work on myself, right? Or maybe I'm like, oh my God, this hits. I love this. I'm obsessed with it. It's like, why did it hit? What made that feel so expansive, what I was listening to? Same with, I mean, you could just do this going about your life, right? Like if something really annoys me in life, why is that really annoying to me? Or, I mean, clock your financial triggers. Okay, I'm going to go on a rant before we actually choose our affirmation today. Watch what triggers you financially. Watch when you feel scarcity, when you feel like you need to defend yourself, when you feel like you need to justify something, when you feel like going into a blackout, when you feel nervous, when you feel excited, when you feel expansive, clocking your financial triggers and then asking yourself why. I do this with a lot of my clients. Like I'll ask them, how is this week? What came up for you this week? That's how we start all of our calls. We start with wins, of course. I'm asking them, what are they celebrating this week? But then what came up? What affected you around money this week? And sometimes it's the smallest little thing. Like maybe they were out at a dinner with a friend, and when the check came, there was a weird energy. And because they're aware of money, they didn't just black it out and ignore it. They've been like ruminating on it and thinking about it. And it's like, okay, what was the weirdness that came up from that? Even though that's such a small little instance, it's not this huge money decision or this huge financial trauma. It's just this little baby thing of like, oh, there was some weirdness when we were getting the check. What was the weirdness on my end? What was the weirdness on their end? Why did I feel weird about them feeling weird? Is it my awareness that's making me more clear on how I don't like how I spend money when I'm in these certain situations, right? You can start asking yourself questions. So a great thing for you to do this week is start watching when you interact with money. Like once you start becoming aware of your money, you're not going to not hear it and see it and feel it, not just in yourself, but with other people. I cannot tell you how many, like, vacations get ruined for me these days because I'm always like sitting at the pool or sitting at the bar and I'm hearing people talk about money because everyone talks about money all the time. And then I'm thrown into money coach brain and I'm like, I was trying to take a break from work, but here we are. I'm hearing people talk about money, or I'm hearing how they react to when they pay a bill or talk about something that's expensive or whatever. And I'm just hearing money mindset. I'm hearing money mindset. I'm hearing money mindset. And I hear it with myself. Every single time I speak about money, I hear it. So as you're starting to do this work, know that that's going to start happening. And it's a weird shift to now be so aware. It's like everything is a spotlight on money conversations and on things interacting with money, like the green car theory that we talked about in one of the earlier days. Like this friend I had was getting a green Kia Soul, I think. And then I saw this green car every single place I went. I would like see this green car on the road. And I'm like, did all of these just pop out of nowhere? No, they'd always been there. My brain's just now looking for it. So when you start to do this work, you're going to start to hear and see all of the things that have to do with money, especially money mindset. You're going to hear your family members talk about it differently. You're going to hear your friends talk about it differently. You're going to hear yourself say something and be like, ooh, do I like that? That's interesting. Like normally you're just thinking about it and speaking about it like very much in the background in the subconscious, but you're bringing it to the forefront. So I want you to start clocking, not just when you get triggered in like an annoyed scarcity way, but when do you feel expansive around your money? And then do some journaling on that. The most random shit that we run into in our life can be our greatest mindset teachers, because when you're faced with a thing and then you have a thought, that's mindset. And then you just do the work on that. If you didn't like how that thing made you feel or think, or you didn't like how you reacted to that thing, or you did like how you react to that thing, and then let's dive in and let's try and bring more of that into your life, okay? So with affirmations, if you're here live and you want to choose an affirmation, we have 2, 7, and 10 left. You can drop the number. I'm going to pick one on my own in 3, 2, 1. Going once. Going twice. Okay, we're going to do number 7. Okay, number 7. My wealth is a positive force for good in the world. Wow, this is a good one for this week. My wealth is a positive force for good in this world. My wealth is a positive force for good in this world. Does that feel true? Does that feel untrue? What happened in your brain? What happened in your body? What came up in your like physical sensations? What did it make you think about? I mean, the first thing for me when I read that one, I'm like, yep, I am watching that happen as we are watching what is happening in LA with the fires, right? I am watching so many people come to aid for LA financially, but like physically with their time and with their energy. Like there are so many people who are rushing to help that have the wealth and the resources to be able to do so. Now, that's where my brain went. But now that I'm back on Instagram, I just see, oh God, I love Instagram and I also hate Instagram. And it's like, even when you're not trying to like look at the news and scroll, just things pop up and you see things. And so I'm also seeing a lot of content and headlines and people picking out the people who do have a lot of money and a lot of resources who are not helping, who are not doing the things that they could with their money and with their wealth and with their resources. And so what I want you to notice is that you can find evidence for both sides of this affirmation. You could find evidence for why my wealth is a positive force for good in the world is true. And you could also find evidence for why wealth does not produce positive forces for good in the world. You can find evidence for both. So what I want you to clock into in this affirmation is my wealth is a positive force for good in the world. My wealth, my community's wealth, my people's wealth, my personal wealth is a positive force for good in this world. How can you find ways that that is true? How can you find the smallest pieces of evidence that that is true? We can cherry pick evidence, use that to your benefit. So cherry pick the evidence. Like again, for me right now, what's popping up in my brain as I read that affirmation is I'm watching what's happening in LA and I'm like, that is so fucking true. Because I am watching people who have wealth make it a positive force for good in this world, especially when we're up against some bullshit that's also being put out in this world, right? Stuff that we are having to fight against and navigate against that is preventable, right? And that could be handled so much better. There are so many people who are getting to use their wealth and their resources to be a positive force for good in the world. So that's the first thing that came up in my brain. When I sit with that feeling in my body, and this is what I want you to do as well, I want you to see what comes up in your literal brain about that affirmation. Again, for the people who just joined, it is, my wealth is a positive force for good in the world. Now I want you to sit with that in your body. So, and this is what's coming up as well when we were talking about, I am worthy of a prosperous life, right? And what does it mean for me to have prosperity? And what does it mean for me to have wealth? What what would I do with wealth and prosperity in this lifetime? What is Brooke's version of being a positive force for good in this world with a lot of wealth and resources, right? Like, so do you see how these affirmations start to tie into each other? So the work that you did on the affirmation, I am worthy of a prosperous life a few days ago, is going to tie into my wealth is a positive force for good in this world, because you've laid the foundational building blocks of I'm worthy of prosperity. Why am I worthy of prosperity? Well, one, because I'm a human being that was put on this earth to enjoy what earth has to offer, right? Or whatever you believe you were put on this earth to experience and do, right? I am worthy of prosperity just for that. But then also let's add another layer where my prosperity is not just about me. My prosperity lifts up others around me. My wealth, when I have wealth, it is a positive force for good in this world. Why is it a positive force for good in this world? Insert more things to journal on. So do you see how these all tie in together? And let's even say, like, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to me multiplied, right? When you donate money, you're spending money on a donation, on a cause, on an organization that then circulates and returns to you multiplied. But also that affirmation can be about a donation, or it can be about you supporting yourself during this really hard time, and you need to go and like splurge on yourself to make yourself feel safe and good and give yourself a bit of a dopamine, right? So that can go both ways. I am in control of my financial destiny. Great. I am in control of my financial destiny. I choose for that to be true because I know that my wealth is a positive force for good in this world. My wealth is a positive force for good in this world. So it is imperative that I have control of my financial destiny, that I take and handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Tie these together, my friends. Take all of these affirmations and start to weave them into a story, we talked about creating a cashed up manifesto early on in one of the earlier days. And all that means is you're basically just tying affirmations and mantras and beliefs together into a cohesive mission statement for you. What does money mean for you right now? What do you want money to mean for you right now? How is money going to be a driving force for you right now? What is the thing that activates you, right? So for some of you, you might need to go a very external focused on other people way of activating you around money, of like, my money is not just about me. My money is about others. I am seeing what's happening in the world and I want to be one of those wealthy people that is coming to the rescue. That is why I am doing this work. You might be a very extrinsic, external motivator, right? But some of you it might be very internal of like, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am here and I get to experience wealth and I get to experience ease with my dollars. And that is enough. That is enough that I am a human on this planet and I get to experience ease. Because when I experience ease, I am the most expansive version of myself. And the most expansive version of myself is the version of me that is the best for this world. Because I am at peace. When I am at peace and when I am at ease, I move about the world differently. And I don't even realize it, but I lift up people around me, right? So you can go very internal. So you get to decide how to weave your cashed up manifesto, this money mission statement that you're going to be creating at the end of these 10 days. Now, again, we can take these core affirmations and you can turn them into a million different things. Like we talked about, one of the tools is to change the wording, right? So for today's, where did it go? I did number 7. My wealth is a positive force for good in this world. You could change the phrasing of this of my wealth can't help but to help others around me. I'm so excited to help other people with the wealth that I am creating, or that I have created, or that I am going to create. Do you see how even just those subtle shifts in wording might have it affect you differently? I am so excited to use the wealth that I create, or to use the wealth that I created, or use the wealth that I am going to create to be a positive force for good in the world. whatever your brain can get behind, because those like verbs, that switching a verb might make it feel more true to you, right? But it all holds the same energy. So you want to pull away any resistance that your brain is giving you around an affirmation. Because if you're giving yourself affirmations that your brain is constantly fighting, you're using a lot of mental energy trying to get your brain on board, but you want your brain to kind of already like give it an easy slide into it so that you can use more of your mental energy collecting evidence, making it true, journaling on why it doesn't feel true and why it does feel true, right? Give yourself an easy in, a gentle invitation. This is something, so I was taking acting classes at the Barrow Group. They're fantastic. Lee is one of the teachers there. She's so wonderful. And one of the things, I love how she teaches and coaches on acting, because one of the things that she does that I think is just so applicable to so many things in life. As I was like in acting class with her, I was like, all of this relates to money. Am I never going to be able to turn my money coach brain off? No, I'm not. So when we were doing acting exercises and doing scenes, someone might say like, oh my God, like it's so hard. Like I feel, and she would just say, what if it's not? What if it's easy? She would do this. She would do this. She'd be like, release it. What if it's not? What if it's easy? And I love that because it's a gentle invitation into thinking differently. I was on a coaching call with a client this morning and we were talking about entrepreneurship, and she goes, entrepreneurship is hard. And I'm like, yes, we have evidence of that, but also how is that benefiting you to continue to say that to yourself over and over and over? Like, what if it's easy? What if it's easy to be an entrepreneur? What if it's easy to make more money? What if making more money in an enjoyable way is easy? And so this is now combining the what if principle with the gentle invitation into ease, a gentle invitation into thinking differently. God, the what if principle is my favorite way to work on affirmations. Because we're asking ourselves, like, what if making money is easy and enjoyable? What if my wealth could be a positive force for good in the world? What would that look like? Do you see how gentle that is when you ask your brain to think about that? Instead of like, my wealth is a force for good in this world. I am making more money. My money is constantly increasing. Making more money is easy and enjoyable. Like sometimes there's like a forcing energy where you're like, I have to believe it. I have to believe it. I have to believe it. But what you want to do is you want to give your brain something it can't fight, right? To be like, what if, hey, let's put down the weapons. Let's have a chat like adults. I know you're mad about what I just said, which is that making money is easy and enjoyable. Or I know you're mad that I just said my wealth is a positive force for good in the world. But like, what if it was? Let's just sit there for a second. What if, can you help me understand why you're saying what you're saying, right? Can you help me understand why you think my wealth would not be a positive force for good in this world? Can you just tell me? Do you see how, I mean, this is like how you have relationship or how you have conversations within your relationships, right? You always have to lead with understanding rather than trying to be right? So like, let's even take principles that we have inside of our own relationships of, let me just try and like sit down and understand where you're coming from. Hey brain, tell me why you believe that wealth leads to negative forces, why wealth leads to bad things, why wealth would make me a bad person. Can you tell me why? Like, I actually want to understand. And then as you're journaling, it's going to be like, oh, right. Because like I see, the Elon Musks of the world, and I see the Jeff Bezoses of the world, and I'm seeing those people and those things, and that is bad things that they're doing with their money. And I don't want to become that. Right? And it's like, oh my God, of course you have a reaction to that phrase then. If that's what you're thinking, that more money turns you into a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk, like, oh my God, of course, I get it. I understand you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Now how I'm feeling is that my heart could never, I know my heart, you know my heart, we're in the same body, right? We're right here together. I know that I would never be able to turn into that, because I know if I had more money, like, let's sit with that right now, brain. Let's sit with that. If I had quadruple the amount of money that I have right now, what would I do with it? What would my life look like? It honestly would probably look pretty similar. I'd just have a little more ease. I'd be able to give a little more. I'd be able to support a little more. I'd be able to pick up the check when my friends came into town. I'd be able to have a bigger apartment that I could host more in. I'd be able to experience more of the things that I was put on this earth to experience. Like I could do more for my destiny. I could go do more of those things. I would have more time to be creative. Like that's what I would do with more money, brain. Does that make sense? And then your brain is like, okay, I'm understanding you. I'm hearing you. I might still have a little resistance. You might have to remind me of that every once in a while, but I understand you now too. So you're going to have a conversation with your brain. It's that gentle invitation into understanding. So this is why I want you to go deep with these affirmations instead of just saying them to yourself in the mirror over and over and over again. Because if you're just standing in the mirror saying, my income is constantly increasing, I am worthy of a prosperous life, I handle my finances with clarity and confidence, you might not say it that aggressively into the mirror at yourself, but when you're doing that and your brain is like, not true, not true, not true, not true, because you haven't done the deep work to understand why your brain is telling you they're not true. You haven't done the work to make those affirmations be a gentle invitation to thinking differently. That's what affirmations are. Affirmations should always be a gentle invitation to thinking differently, which is why adding what if to the beginning of them can unlock so much. What if I handled my finances with clarity and confidence? Hey, brain, we handle our finances with clarity and confidence. How does that make you feel? Tell me about it, because I want that to be true. I know you want that to be true. So how do we get on the same page of making that true? I want to understand why you don't think that's true, right? And I'm going to tell you what's coming up in my body. Like, let's crowdsource. It's like you have your brain, you have your body, and then you have your soul, right? Whatever's like talking between the two, right? So you're going to have a conversation with everyone, right? So it's like you running the show and you're having to like put your brain and hear her out. Then you're having to take your body and hear her out. Because sometimes your body will have feelings and thoughts as well that are at odds with what you desire to feel and what you desire to be true, right? So for example, my wealth is a positive force for good in the world. Your body might have been like, oh, nope, I do not want to be one of the wealthy people. Nope, because when you become wealthy, that is not true. You do not become a positive force for good in the world. Or I'm afraid that when you make more money, you're not going to actually be able to accumulate wealth because you're not good at money. More money makes body freak out, right? And so your body might just be feeling a lot or feeling stuck or feeling clumpy or feeling like jittery. So your body might have something going on, just like your brain has something going on, and you have to meet your body where it's at, right? Where you have to say, hey body, whoa, what just came up for you? Because your brain might have something different come up than your body did. Your brain might be totally on board with the affirmation you just said, but your body clenches, your body tenses, right? I know a lot of us have read or heard about the book, The Body Keeps the Score. That was kind of one of the big first books that was talking about how your body stores trauma, how your body stores memories and stores feelings. And sometimes they have nothing to do with the current thing that's going on. So sometimes you have to talk to your body and you have to do some somatic work. You have to do some movement. You have to talk to the physical feelings and sensations in your body to be like, where is that coming from? Is that actually related to what we're going through right now in this moment, right? Is it actually a thing that is related to now? So let's take another affirmation from another one of the days. Let's say making money is easy and enjoyable. I think a lot of people had a lot of feelings about that one, so that's the one we're gonna take today. Making money is easy and enjoyable. And so your body has a reaction to that, and you have to say, body, where's that coming from, right? Like the story I told where I hit an income level where it stopped feeling easy and enjoyable. And so my body hit that and had those experiences, and now it's kind of like, kind of clammed up, right? When I think about expanding my income more and more and more and more. And so I have to talk to my body and I have to be like, when did you learn that? When did that get solidified in your DNA and in your feelers, in your neurons, right? And I have to talk to her and I have to remind myself to, what do I need to do to feel safe making more money? I talked about this in a couple of the other days past. So like, make sure you watch this entire series so you can hear that. But I have to go have a conversation with my body so that she's up to speed and on the same page. And I'm bringing her along at her pace, right? So I'm not forcing her to be like, you must believe it. Why aren't you believing it? It's a gentle invitation to be like, I want to understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Why don't these things feel true to you? Let's have a physical conversation. Because with your brain, that's probably going to be in the journal. With your body, that might be on a walk, right? That might be in a yoga practice. That might be in a meditation where you're sitting with the feeling. That might be in a somatic practice where you are like personifying the feeling and asking it questions, whether or not it makes sense, right? That's probably where that data is going to come from. So there's a lot of different areas. Like when we're talking about the affirmations, like going deep, this is what it means. You could spend an entire month on one single affirmation. You could spend an entire month on one affirmation and never be at a loss for things to think about, journal on, and process through, right? I could take the affirmation, my wealth is a positive force for good in the world, which is today's affirmation. I can take that and work on that for a whole nother month. Always asking myself a different question in my journal. Continuing to repeat that to myself while I'm like in the subway, right? On my way to an audition. My wealth is a positive force for good in this world. And as I'm in different scenarios, ooh, this is good. This is another thing you can do to deepen an affirmation. As you're going through different arenas of your life, repeating that affirmation and seeing what comes up. Because me, you know, sitting here with my tarot cards, my sage, my journals, my candle, like in my little like safe sphere, and I'm saying to myself, my wealth is a positive force for good in this world, might be a lot easier and might bring up some different feelings than if I'm sitting in the subway, right, on my way to an audition, watching chaos unfold in front of me, saying my wealth is a positive force for good in this world, right? It might hit different when I am at a coffee shop and I'm hearing conversations all around me and I'm thinking my wealth is a positive force for good in this world. As I'm doing my financial CEO party and I'm looking at my bank accounts, right? And I say my wealth is a positive force for good in this world, it might bring up a lot of different things. It might hit different in all of these scenarios. So I encourage you to take these affirmations and to take this work out into the world with you, not just sitting in your cozy little vibey corner of your room or wherever you tend to do this work and letting it live there and that's it. You need to go and like take it out, because the mindset work really only works if it continues with you out into the real world, not just in your safe bubble, right? Like an actual practical action. Do you believe that your wealth is a positive force for good in this world out in the world when you are actually out there living it? Do you believe, right, that every dollar you spend circulates and returns to you multiplied when you're paying a parking ticket? Do you believe that? Right? Do you believe that you release all resistance to attracting money when you just got told you didn't get the gig, when you just got rejected from a job, right? Can you still release all resistance to attracting money? I am in control of my financial destiny. Can you believe that when you are standing in line for an EPA? Do you believe that? Do you believe that you handle your finances with clarity and confidence when you're sitting down looking at the amount of debt you owe? Do you believe that when you're sitting down to learn about investing? Like, take these affirmations into real world and then continue to do the work and continue to deepen it. Find when these affirmations feel the least true and then ask yourself why. And then do this work again and again and again and again. So I've been sitting with the same like journal prompts for months now, right? Inside of my journal, because I just keep going deeper and I just keep getting a little bit more clarity. It's like I'm turning the dial up just like one notch every time. I'm like, okay, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And even if it's not deepening every time, it's solidifying more each and every time, right? Of like, I'm reminding myself the ahas that I'm having, right? Because I might have a day where I'm like, I get it. This is what I've been stuck with. Oh my God, I get it. Amazing. And then the next morning I wake up and I'm like, right? And I have to go back into my journal and I'm like, remember what we did yesterday? Yep, that's it. Right, that's what we need to believe. Why didn't it feel true this morning? Let's journal on that, right? every single day you can deepen and you can deepen and you can deepen. So as a reminder, today's affirmation was, my wealth is a positive force for good in the world. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @notstarvingartists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.